Congrats, Roshan. You won a very fiercely contested election, and you won by a very big margin. So, what do you attribute your win to?
Anurag, I genuinely felt that from the very beginning, my issue was that it was very difficult for me to try and build a campaign around myself, because I think people know me. So I said, rather than do that, I was building it more around 2-3 very simple statements. When I said Har baat ek saath, I actually meant it. I tell people saying, in everything I do in life, I operate from a space of zero ego and curious learning. So I really reach out to people, and that's what I did. From day one, I was talking to Samit yesterday, and I said, मेरी उंगली पे छाला पड़ गया है, मैंने इतने फोन करे. पर मैंने जो फोन करे हैं, the calls I made were not to sell myself to the people, but to hear them. I can't tell you what a rich experience it was that in the last 3 weeks, I've spoken to people in every place, whether it was in Madhya Pradesh, whether it was in Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Calcutta, Guwahati, Puri, Bhubaneswar, you name it, Jaipur, Chandigarh, everywhere. And the first thing is, I think a good trait of leadership is to just listen. And when you listen, you get to understand the true problem. So I think the connect that I made was very important. The second thing was that I always said that let's not let this become, many elections become a cat fight, a street fight. I don't think it was there. It was very nice that everyone, yes, it was fiercely contested. Yes, there was a lot of effort put in by everyone else.
And possibly it was the first time an election happened. I remember 2-3 years back also, Roshan, you and me had a conversation, you wanted to contest, and you were convinced by your friends and peers ki chhod do yaar, consensus se karte. So, and it is the voting percentage. You got everybody involved. So the positives, we'll focus on the positives in a while, but I will listening to you.
No, you're so right. And what happened was that I thought it was very important for an elected representative to come, because the issue is that when a person gets nominated, there is someone in the entire lot who feels, listen, but I worked so hard, maybe because I won it democratically by a vote, my voice is larger. And I didn't want that. I really wanted.
And it also brings more expectation and responsibility.
Exactly. And and here the joy was this, that I'm telling you to discover people who have come up the hard way. And many of them actually, and this thing is that we are very proud entrepreneurs, and proud entrepreneurs want you to show them a way and show them value. They will figure out how to do the rest. But I think that's a very important thing. We should really know that other people have got great strengths, and that work, because I found that we have entrepreneurs, Anurag, who are putting up tents in Las Vegas, and we don't even know.
I don't know.
That's what I'm telling you. There are people in our industry who have set up. There is a person, Nimesh is somebody I've become very fond of. And, Nimesh Pitalia, when I spoke to him, he said, sir, I run 7 different agencies together. And the turnover will shock you. So there are people who are doing wonderfully well, and maybe we can learn from them. The issue has become that for some reason in the last many years, and there was a big inclusive policy of getting people, but we've got to actually include them. We've got to showcase them. We've got to make a new set of heroes. And that's why, if you remember, I said that there were 3 things. One was Har baat ek saath, which meant talk to people. The second, which I kept talking about, was bring the pulse back. And I used to keep talking about prosperity, unity, leadership, samvad, and education.
Yeah,
and
I did watch the video.
And that was it. And the final point that I was always telling people was, we need to write a new story. So you see, this whole thing is, everybody knows I'm a storyteller, I'm the person who's a great communicator, but many people forget that I've scripted the stories of 3 really beautiful organizations: Geometry, Encompass, Glitch, Kommune. And I'm never the leader who wants to be the front face. I will always go and say, you lead, I will show you the path. You lead, I will show you the path. And I think that really worked with people.
Fantastic. And let's talk a little bit about what do you think you will do. You talked of pulse. Next 12 months, what will be EEMA's and hence Roshan Abbas' priority
I think the first thing I was telling Gunel earlier also was that what I really wanted to do was I wanted to get all the people together and say, I've created a form where I want everyone's suggestions. I'll bring them together. I want to create a minimum program, which is saying this is a minimum consensus program of what people want delivered. I will have a 30-day, a 60-day, a 90-day deliverable plan. It won't be a year. It will be 30, 60, 90, because that's what really decides. Speed is of the essence. Right now, we have to be heard. If it requires all of us to come out and step out onto the street to be heard, so be it. I will not shy away from even going an extreme step if required, because we need to be heard. I mean, you cannot have so many lives, so many livelihoods at stake. That's important. So I think that's important. The second thing is that really building a professional network. I kept saying it has to be apolitical, it has to be non-political, it cannot be agenda-led. So professional network, I mean, I'm very inspired by BNI. I had spoken at a couple of BNI, meetups. And I saw that members introduced each other so well. Everybody gave and asked for things. And that's what I want. I want a weekly meetup of one agency per region. Now imagine if there are about 170 members, I mean, and maybe a few more, 4 to 8 members being introduced every week, starting from the smallest to the people in the remotest part of the country. You will discover that there will be a contract in Guwahati that could be done by the person in Guwahati along with 2 people from Delhi and Bombay. That's collaboration. I have already in 5 years or 6 years ago, we had collaborated with about 6 agencies. We collaborated with Showspace, we collaborated with Go Bananas, we were trying to explore another couple of relationships across. Sukhrit had found something in Kolkata, and we actually benefited a lot from those relationships. So I feel that building collaborations where everyone profits is possible. We need also to go to the government and say, you're the one set of people who has the money to be able to put a smile on people's face. And who puts a smile on people's face but what we do? I mean, Annurag, when you do your awards and everybody's coming up and clapping, there's somebody who put up that set, that light, that sound, that content, that entire venue, all of that. And I really believe we are a building block of goodness in this country, and the government should realize it. Also, India will be, uniquely in the COVID situation, we are still coming out appearing to be, hey, look at us. We are a big country, but we are managing it to the best of our ability. Our mortality rates seem to be lower than what's happening globally, and therefore, maybe India is going to be a great destination going forward for things to happen. We have to build that destination. And if we can actually bring this new India to the forefront, look at the amount of money that a Dubai spends, a Qatar spends on promoting themselves. Why aren't we doing that? I want a global team as well, which is telling people, come. We are the one country whose hospitality floors people. Let our technology floor you as well. Let our professionalism floor you as well. And I think that's it. The India story needs to be built globally. In the short term, I need to be knocking at the doors of the government with everybody, and I'm going to start it as early as next week.
Roshan, I'd love to do many conversations, but I want to say that your role or the role of EEMA or the role of the president of EEMA is more relevant than ever, because the experiential marketing domain and the events domain is in crisis. So you talked about 30, 60, 90 days. Can you tell us what your goals are in 30 days, 60 days and 90 days?
So as I said, that entire thing is something that I'm reaching out to the entire member team to say, give me your suggestions so I can come out with a common minimum program, which is 30, 60, 90. But I do believe the biggest focus in 30 is going to be on trying to get the government to, in some form, help the entire industry. Secondly, there are a lot of payments that many agencies, and I know this across the board, that are stuck with the government. And if they just release those, we'll be able to help so many people down the line. So I think this is going to be, putting some kind of a pressure on the government is going to be a very important factor. The second thing is also to try and see how can we do something in terms of digital to bring revenue in, because without that revenue, people are really just trying to figure out a way to survive. and we have to build a revenue plan for the entire collective, not for one agency, not for two agencies. The third thing, very critical in this time, is going to be, as I said, education, which is about, I think there's a lot of reskilling required. I mean, let's not shy away from the fact that people are losing 30 to 40% of their workforces because they have nothing for them to do. And what do you do with them? And you have to reskill these people. There are digital careers available that do not require, I keep telling people that to learn how to operate a Zoom show can be a paid gig at 500 rupees an hour. If somebody does it for 5 hours a day, that's 2,500, that's 75,000 rupees. That's enough to run your family. But are people doing it? Are people explaining to people that this current call can be done with a backdrop behind you and something behind me and AV playing and something, just to make it more professional? Now, this is a private conversation.
And the experience. And
so building digital experiences is critical. Building interactivity is going to be very, very important. And, trying to figure out how to increase this 50 people to 200 people in terms of social distance gathering. I think that if we can just up that, at least there is some amount of energy. And we've been talking about various protocols of saying, what if somebody hired 4 venues and did 50 people in each and interlinked them? You've got to think of creative solutions. But, I mean, the simplest thing is, if 200 people, Annurag, can travel in a flight, why can't they gather at a location which is going to be far more spread out? And the kind of protocols we build. I mean, I remember when we used to do the IPL, there is a clause in the contract which says that if a nail is found on the playing ground, we are susceptible to damage. That's the level of care that a professional event person can take. Give us that opportunity. That's all we're asking. Now, they will start playing cricket in empty stadiums. They will require somebody to even make that experience great, even if it's digital. But we need to quickly up the digital ante on one side as well.
Thanks, Roshan. I want to ask you, I saw a lot of new office bearers. I don't know them personally. My involvement, I'd like to, this is, experiential, we're a media company and we do good events. So this is a very important domain for me. And, now a lot of new faces I saw in the office bearers. So how will you make them that are actually involved? Because sometimes the leadership is so, involved at the top, but at the bottom, it is not.
No.
So how will Roshan Abbas make that happen?
Absolutely. You asked me in that article last time saying that what part of my personality will I bring to this place? And I said that before, saying that when I say Sambandh and Samvad, they are not words. Sambandh was something that Raj Nayak in a session during lockdown said, Sambandh ya sab bandh. And
so there is a chapter. So me and Raj talked about it 20 years back. And it's a chapter in my book called Sambandh. So it's something me and Raj talked 20 years back.
And Annurag, I just fell for the line because I said, my God, it is so true. We are such a relationship-based business. And again, this screen has made connectivity so easy. So as I said, I am proposing a weekly call with every region for an hour. 1 hour for every region to tell me what they're doing. I'm proposing a monthly call with all the members. And this will be one professional and one just casual gathering. Tonight, as I said, we're just getting people together. But I said, let's just spread some positivity and love. And 2 members have decided. So it's so beautiful. One member said, I'll host it. One member said, I have a DJ friend who'll play the music. Somebody said, I'll do a quiz. Now, suddenly there is a wave of positivity flowing, which will make everybody feel connected. But the quiz is about members. See, that I'll tell you one. So for example, there is a wonderful, I mean, Chanchal is very well known. Chanchal Sanyal is in Delhi. A brilliant writer. Now, Chanchal's just running workshops with people on creativity, or a Kanishka Singha's, again, these are people I've worked with in the past. But, there are people I've been talking to, such beautiful skills. Or like when Rajiv had done his meetup with Sachin and Siddharth Ganeriwala, where he talked about money and money management. I was not able to attend that session, but I heard from people saying, oh my God, this man knows money. Now, I'd love to learn that. I'm not the money person, but I am the value person. So bringing everybody on board is going to be critical.
Roshan, now how will, even what I like about you is you trusted me when I said to you that not only we do, imagine we do TV, we do news TV, how big personalities we deal with. We deal with Annurag Goswami and downwards everyone. So the only thing that has kept us going is our equidistance, right? And I safeguard that very fiercely. Plus, I don't want to be a negative catalyst in anything. That's my personal role. Even, like I remember Papa CJ se misunderstood. Luckily, I'm back in touch with him. मैं भूल जाता हूँ. वो हुआ. I've had such good moments with him. So why should I remember one bad incident, which is totally misunderstanding? And, so what I like about you is that you're walking the talk. You have conviction in what you believe in. You're going through that. And how will you mentioned Rajiv here again. You got to learn money from it. But money follows ideas, right? Let's put it this way. And, so how will you collaborate with people that you fought, so to say, in an election?
So I'll give you an example. I think between yesterday and today, I must have spoken to everyone. Rajiv and I had a chat. I had a chat with Sabas because, he was very involved in the election as well. I had a chat with Vijay Arora and I had a chat with Vipul Pandey, Aarti, Harshal, Martin, Arun. Everybody was standing. I mean, Siddharth, Sagar, I was unable to speak with last night, but Siddharth and Jindi, Samit, so I genuinely believe that consensus, and I keep repeating that word, it's about leaving your ego at the door. Leave your ego out of the equation. I mean, if you don't do that in professional relationships, I must understand what's of value. My one observation, I mean, and this is just, in a sense, I'm telling you, because I felt that there was a lot of coverage, but a lot of coverage by some other publications as well was extremely one-sided, not on one candidate, but on one or two candidates. And I just wrote them a very polite note today saying, your job is to be responsible to what you do. Just be responsible. Give everyone a fair share. You cannot pass a value judgment on saying, this one's already winner, this one's already victor. I said, no, report rather than take a stance of saying you passed a judgment. Unfortunately, I feel that somewhere that has started happening very often because our audience wants us to play judge and jury. But I don't want to do that. I really want to bring everyone's best. If tomorrow my opponent is the best person to lead an initiative, so be it. It is in the best interest of everyone at EEMA. If tomorrow there is somebody who brings a certain quality to the table, utilize that because, I think 25 years of experience has taught me that, people, you choose your friends by saying who do you want to spend a time when you're not doing business with. You choose your business associates by saying who can I extract maximum value from and build a relationship with. And I think that's what I'm going to try to do.
So, Roshan, if we talk to you in 12, because it's the first elected person, the responsibility is more. There's more accountability. Roshan said he would do this. Or Roshan said, I will work with you guys to achieve this. So hopefully, we'll see a new EEMA. So when we talk to you in 12 months from now, what would have EEMA accomplished? And what would have...
Anurag, right now, when I look outside and when I keep hearing things of saying that there will be this lockdown continuing, I mean, today I just saw a report that said maybe in Bombay again, it's going to continue. I think if we can just safeguard and keep our members positive and still surviving, frankly, because I am not seeing the best of signs.
You're absolutely real about it.
Right? So the biggest thing is if we can just keep the flock together in 12 months, that by itself will be an achievement because there will be a lot of downers. There are already posts out in public about retrenchment and people are not taking that well. People also not handling it well. Vendor payments from clients, all of these issues are going to come. So I think, I believe that if I can give them a professional, prosperity-oriented, I can't guarantee prosperity, but it will be oriented towards that. Professional, prosperity-oriented organization, which is at that 12 months from now, you turn and say the apocalypse is over, the pandemic is over, ab sach mein achhe din aayenge.
What I have been hearing, apart from other things that you answered, is that women are underrepresented, and our industry has 45% women, but still We don't see, we did just had a couple of them in the elections also. I mean, what is your way of dealing with it, and how do you want to balance this?
So Ruhel, it's amazing that if you look at every organization that I have run has had women in its leadership. I mean, when I was at Geometry Encompass on a day-to-day assignment, my entire top team was 85% women. And you know, when it happened at Glitch, Pooja Jory is the current CEO. She's there. Kommune is headed by Dipti Bansal and Pranika. Both. So I genuinely think that they make great leaders. And I think at EEMA, the issue has so far been that while there are women entrepreneurs who are running agencies, it is underrepresented. It's represented well in terms of staff, but it is not represented so well in leadership. I think when you look at Poonam Lal, Sushma Gaikwad, Reema Sangvi, look at Aarti Mattu, look at Prerna in Delhi, many professionals that I know. All of these people, Gitika Ganju, every one of them has made a great mark. My simple proposal was, and I was very impressed, I last year went to host an IIFL conference. That was fantastic. And then I said, what's your next conference? And they said, well, we can't get you there because it's an all-women's conference. And I said, what do you mean? They said, from the host to the invitees to everything, the women decide. And I loved the idea. So one of my proposals was an all-women conference. Because if we have an all-women's conference, Ruhel, it's got to have 400 women professionals from our industry. Automatically, you will get to see 380 new faces. Automatically, those sessions will be run by them. Automatically, they will invite people who are there. And I think that's one simple way. Also, many of our women are very fierce women, and they've all turned and said that, listen, they don't want reservations. They just want an equal opportunity. So I think empowering them is going to be important. And the names that I took are some people I deeply respect in terms of our industry. And I hope that these people can actually help me build an agenda for all our women leaders here. Tabassum Modi was one of the key people in Bombay earlier, Rakhi Kankaria down south. So these are the few names I remember off the cuff, but I would actually give them the mandate to say, you all decide, and we will go behind it and help it in any way possible.
There's another perception that we are underrepresented in the government corridors, and everyone has been kind of trying to get that industry status that we so urgently need, that tag. On that front, you also said that you don't mind people going on the streets. You would even go to any extent to support. Tell me immediately in the closest, nearest time slot, what would you do?
So I think there are three areas of focus. One is the central government, one is the state governments that we're talking to, and I know that there was some amount of work that had been done with representation with FICCI to the GST authorities, to another. So I want to follow through on that. I want to spend some time with Sanjoy to get a sense of where have they reached, because Sanjoy's industry association strength was there. I think we've got wonderful people. Sri Hari Om Jatia is one of the people in our EEMA. He is sitting somewhere far away, but he has a lot of connections. His family has been in the political atmosphere for 40 odd years and more. We have Mr. Archan Gurutu, who is very well connected and again has been at the forefront of bringing people to us. We have Samit, who of course is very well connected as well. And I just feel that we will need to bring Mr. Lalit Gatani. All of these people, I think, there are so many of these people we need to put together and say, can they do something? I think Rajiv has got great connect with the Delhi government in that sense. So I will take a little bit of advice from all of them and put a team together. At the state level also, so I am trying to really pull a rabbit out of the hat and make sure that within the next 2 weeks, we get something happening with the government. I'm going to use every one of my friends within EEMA and external friends, because I've had, I said this in your interview as well, saying that one of my abilities is to open doors. And I will use all the connects I have made in these years to open those and definitely try to get us either some relief or quickly to see, is there any relief package we can get? And we are not asking, we are very proud people as event managers. We are not asking for somebody to give us a grant. We are not asking for dole. We are saying, give us some activities to organize. Give us an exhibition on how to keep your places safe from COVID. You know, there are so many exhibitions happening in China, etc. Why can't we do an India-only exhibition right now, which is the need of the hour, on what are the things? If we are talking about India being the pharma capital to the world, and at one level we are debating on Patanjali, why can we not look at 100 other solutions and build something with the government? So I want to actually propose a joint exhibition with the government, and I will be doing that within the next 2 weeks.
I have two quick questions. One is that, EEMA has done a lot of work, and especially, over the years, but the perception is that it's a twice a year event. Sometimes a lot of people told me, how do we tell the great work that we're doing? How do we make people understand and realize that, look, it's much more than these two events?
Ruhel, exactly how you and I are communicating. Now, imagine if you started hosting a monthly meet and greet with the event fraternity and said, we should be investing in co-creating things where we make our members appear as the heroes they are and the heroines they are, because we just don't do that. This becomes, I think till last year, EEMA was a very physical organization. What has happened in the pandemic is that you and I have been forced to become digital organizations, and therefore, I see no reason why every week, every month, we cannot do member meetups in this digital format. The minute lockdown ends, I promise you, I will be on the road, and we intend to do with the top team a roadshow in every city. But for that, we need this to open, and we are not anticipating that to happen still for the next couple of months, unfortunately. So just not making this about the success of a few, just not making this about, a celebration 2 days in a year. That's the critical part. I think we just need to make a lot of our meetups digital. A lot of where is EEMA on social media? I'm a big believer in social media. I run a community which has got over 6.5 lakh people who are just fond of poetry, stories, etc. Why can we not build a much larger community of event managers? I do know that the EEMA Facebook page has a lot of traction. But where are we on Instagram? Where are we on Twitter? Where are we on LinkedIn? What are we doing? A digital first EEMA is very important. Physically, we will keep meeting. I would so look forward to meet you and shake your hand. But till we cannot do that, we will continue these digital exercises.
My final question is the same which I asked earlier, which when Batraji came in. You are getting into a new role at a time which is challenging, and what do you see it as? Blessing, as a challenge? How do you take it? What is the mindset?
So as I told you, I definitely see it as a challenge, but I also see it as happening to me at the right time. Pre-pandemic, I was actually saying, how will I reprioritize my life post 50? And that will happen in the next 3 months. But I was really saying, what is legacy? What is it that you want to leave behind? When I set up a radio institute, the reason was not because I was a success on radio. I wanted to train people for radio. When I set up Kommune, the reason was not because I wanted to be a storyteller. I wanted to hear people's stories. Similarly, I think in the event industry, it's very critical at a time like this that we actually try to bring positivity to a large degree. And I keep repeating that. So prosperity, positivity is very critical. And I think I've really been given this opportunity, which is challenging, but I will try to make the best of it, to give back to the industry that made me who I am. When I was 4 years old, I got on stage for the first time and the magic touched me. I professionally started becoming an event manager, I think at the age of 27. So 23 years later, everything that I have learned, I can impart to people, but I think doing it together and maybe, many years from now saying how we brought this industry from the brink back to its heydays is an opportunity, a blessing, a challenge, which I'm looking forward to. And, it's going to be a huge uphill task. But as I said, I've cleared the decks to take this on. And I'm blessed with a wonderful team of people from Deepak, KJ, Samit, Sachin, at one level, and also to have, Aarti, to have, Martin, to have Vijay Arora, and a strong secretariat. I think we've got a good secretariat set up, which has happened in the last 2 years. We need to build on that and make this a professional place for everybody to remember.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time, and I think we have a lot of content to do in the coming time, and we're very kicked about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ruhail. And again, as I said, this is going to be something which I really hope becomes a great partnership for EEMA, because there are very few people who write and speak about our industry. We've got to do it together. We've got to help build and put out those positive measures, put the pressures in the right place. I mean, you all as a media voice need to equally be heard.
I would say, I would say that the journalism in this sector has been of a different nature so far. Maybe it's also going through its evolution, and it's kind of coming to a more serious kind of a thing.
It needs to. It is. I remember, and I'll tell you this off the record in terms of things that, I remember many years ago, I used to do a column in Event FAQs, and there was a lot of things, oh my God, and I myself told them after a year saying, listen, I'm doing this to impart knowledge, and frankly, why don't you make it a column that features everyone? Honestly, the more these people are seen and heard, the more they feel, they feel recognized, they feel the spotlight is on them, and I've been blessed with the spotlight for 40 years, yeah. So I'm like, really, I'm happy to sit in the wings and clap for everybody who's doing well. And I hope I can give them that opportunity.
Wonderful talking to you. Very, very enlightening as well. And I'll stay in touch with you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Roy. Take care. See you soon.